Hi everybody, it's Susan and I am house hunting from the upstairs bathroom. So today I found a house on Facebook. It's on Cheap Old Houses and it is at 5050 State Highway 8, and you have got to see this thing. I'm going to put some photos on the screen, but it's a pink Victorian with all kind of windows everywhere and decorative well, you see all that stuff there. There's decorative trim and that kind of stuff. It's got the outside is wrecked. It's only listed for $38,000. Look at this thing. This, if you know me, you know this is my jam. It needs a roof. It needs, the flooring in the two top floors. The joists have to be repaired. It needs to be painted. So the rehab is probably going to be about, well, I'm in Panama City, Florida, so just looking at this and not knowing what kind of problems it has, I'm assuming for a house of this size with this many problems in this age, the rehab would probably be about $200,000. But look at this, look at the features in this house. It's got, you'd have to take out the ceilings and put sheetrock ceilings. You'd have to clean the floors, probably recover the floors. They don't look like they're salvageable. There's a lot of demo that has to be done. There's this beautiful curved door frame that can be polished and maybe saved. I don't know. It looks like it could be saved at first glance. There's a lot of water damage on the inside from the roof not having been repaired. But this thing used to be listed in the America's Painted Ladies, was a publication. I think it was in the 30s, and this house in its prime was pretty. I guess for that time it was considered a real gem. It's kind of butt ugly then. But, so my taste is a little more updated. I would probably take off some of the decorative features of it and maybe use a different kind of siding and trim for it, but that's to my taste. Anybody else, they would of course remodel it to their taste. But the stairway looks like it could be salvaged. The bottom would be sheetrocked, the wallpaper would come down, and you would probably sheetrock over the slats on the interior walls. And I bet you could probably find some windows that still have the lead glass in them because this house is so old. My first rehab, I was able to find several panes that still had the bubbles in them and the little drips, because when they used to make glass, it used to be poured, and it would, when they put it up and put it in the windows, it would settle, and so it would get bubbles and little waves in it and stuff. And the manufacturing process is different now, but those windows were still there. So if those are the original windows, there may still be some that have the waves in them and stuff. You would probably update the hardware everywhere, like doorknobs and all that kind of stuff, because it looks like there's so much water damage. You might have a hard time opening and closing doors and windows if they weren't updated. Unless you want to take the time to clean the sills and clean, some of those window sills can be salvaged, the ones that have the little rope in the sides, and I've seen people actually salvage and restore those. I don't think I would want to do it, but it can be done. So there's a couple of window panes missing that I can see just from the pictures. This is in New York, so I'm not going to go do a walkthrough or anything like that, but this is just a fabulous property, and somebody who's got the heart for it and the stamina for it could really make a fun rehab out of this and just have a blast with it. I would love to be the one to do it. Sadly, I am not in a position to do so at the moment, but that doesn't mean things won't change. The first rehab that I did was an old house that was built in 1913. Actually, the records started in 1913, and I made an agreement with the owner to let me live there and just keep the vagrants out of it, because it was right across the street from a homeless shelter. There was a lot of drug activity and violence and stuff. And when I moved in, there was crime scene tape everywhere and blood on the wall and a big place where somebody had bashed somebody's head in the wall, and I had to, I would come home and there'd be people sleeping in the yard or sleeping underneath the porch and stuff like that. And the owner let me stay there, to keep them out of trouble with the city. And so I painted over the graffiti, and I got a dog and made some minor repairs that I could make with salvage materials, and I borrowed some well, actually a lady who was cleaning out her farmhouse gave me a bunch of appliances, and I lived there for a year, and I loved the process. I loved I painted every single surface in that house, and I had so much fun doing it. But it was a fabulous house, and it got my feet wet in the rehabbing business, or I guess you could call it the business. I mean, I was just doing it for fun, and daydreaming about having my old home to raise my kids in and stuff. And I just got hooked on the process and hooked on all the different things you could do, and the artsy fartsy part of it, and the products, and some of the different things that you can do to update on the cheap, because I am my mama's daughter, and if I paid 50 cents for it, she's like, you couldn't have got it for a quarter. So I did some wheeling and dealing and got some good light fixtures and different things like that, but so now I'm wanting to do another one, and I'm in Panama City, Florida. There's one right up the street from me that hasn't been fixed, it hasn't been repaired because they think they're in agreement with the insurance company. There's been a lot of shady stuff going with the insurance companies and contractors. There's been a lot of people that have gotten the shaft from their contractors, and just different things. But then there are some that are, they just up and left the home because it was too much to deal with, because the whole community was just demolished. When I go in and I find a house that's been abandoned and water damaged and all that kind of stuff, I get excited because I'm like, oh my God, the potential. What I'd like to do in the future is walk through there's a lot of new construction homes around here, and I'd like to walk through some of those. So if you're a real estate agent or a builder and you would like some airtime for your properties, reach out to me at YourHouseHero@yahoo.com. My name is Susan Denham, and I will bring the camera and do a walkthrough, and we'll ooh and ah over all the pretties and the neato stuff that you're putting into the property, and get you some traction on your listings. If you have a home for sale by owner, I'm offering the same service, and so just reach out to me and let's see what we can work out. I'd love to come and see your house, and I also have started a fundraiser, a GoFundMe. Y'all think I'm playing? I am not playing. I'm serious about this, and I will accept donations, absolutely, because I want a family home. I want to have a home to bring my children to. I want to have something that I can paint and fix and clean, and I'm willing to come and look at your house. If you have one that the stairways collapsed from a hurricane, reach out, let me know. I'd love to come and see it. I went and looked at a beautiful, beautiful home in St. Andrews. It's probably the oldest house in St. Andrews, and a lot of the original features there was a boat portal still installed in the wall, and it had the opening on one side, and you could open it and reach through. It didn't have any utility, it was just there to look good, but it was still there from when they originally built the house. And the owner was very concerned about who she sold it to, because she didn't want the house to be torn down. And I totally get that, because if you can salvage a home that has amazing history, it doesn't add to the actual monetary value of the house, but people love to take pride in their homes, and if somebody was going to put the work in to rehab a home and make it fabulous, they want to have a history or a neat story. Like the house that we just looked at, it was listed on the Painted Ladies it was the cover story at the Painted Ladies publication, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was a nationally distributed magazine. A lot of people had subscriptions to that back then. That was where you saw ideas for your houses and your pink appliances and whatever they spent money on back then. So that was the home improvement magazine of the day. So it was kind of a big deal. It's something that whoever gets that house can be proud of, and they can have an issue of it, on display in their home. And also, there's a lot of other really beautiful features to that house. So reach out if you have a property that you want me to come and look at. I would love to come and look at anything that's damaged or neglected or abandoned. Wood frame houses are my absolute favorite with lots of peaks, but I will look at a block house. Just give me a call. I'm Susan Denham at YourHouseHero@yahoo.com. Bye.